Great. Hi, everyone. I'm not a robot, I'm Solène, and so happy to be here today. It's such an honor. Thank you, Yari, for the nice introduction. Today, I'm going to talk about my AI journey, and I will share with you my AI compass that I've been, building over the past few years, building AI products. So 5 years ago, I moved to Switzerland for two things. The first one was a job at Google, and the second one was this, the mountains. I have a deep passion for the mountains, and mountains bring me a lot of clarity. And I have to say that for the past 3 years, building AI products, I needed that clarity more than ever. As you might remember, late 2022, ChatGPT emerged. For the entire industry, this was like really a thick fog. And for us at Google, we were really scrambling. We knew that we had to react very fast and change the way we build product and change how we build what we build. So this is the moment when I joined Yariv in Cloud AI to build multiple AI solutions. Today, I'm going to refer to three AI expeditions, I called it this way, that I led. The first one was Infobot. They started right after ChatGPT emerged as a RAG solution to replace this clunky website chatbot. We launched it just in a few weeks as a quick way to react, and we rapidly learned the pitfalls of hallucinations and what grounding really meant. Then I was part of the Gemini enterprise team. Here, the challenge was really to solve this shadow AI problem in the enterprise. And as a product team, we had to solve the problem of connecting all this like siloed, fragmented data in the enterprise to give it to AI agents so that they can be really helpful and safe for employees to use. And the last challenge I tackled was bringing AI co-scientist research paper that was published at the beginning of the year by Google, and to turn this into a product for pharma companies and scientists with the goal to really help accelerate discoveries. And on all of these products, we moved incredibly fast. I can still, can't believe it today, but that was kind of really the AI speed. But what troubled me every time was really this growing gap between hype and help. And you might remember it was just 2 weeks ago when I was like building this presentation, and on one side of my feed, it was full of these memes from Sam Altam after the launch of Sora 2 and this big debate around the new TikTok powered by AI Slope. And the same week, like Sundar Pichai announced that Google AI managed to discover a new therapy for cancer and validated the hypothesis. And I think we're seeing it every week, like this growing gap between the hype and help. And this is something that started to obsess me, building AI solutions, how we make sure that we build really helpful product with AI. And I truly believe that AI will help us to solve problems, scientific problems, medical problems that we thought were never, unsolvable before. So this became kind of my obsession. And by the way, it's not just that OpenAI is always hype and Google is always help. Was just the case 2 weeks ago. And so next, okay. I in all this AI expeditions and this product I was building, I really I failed many times, and as a team, we had like some hard lessons. And so I found my answer in this compass that I wanted to share today, which has 4 cardinal points and really helped me to make product decision on all of these AI solutions. So I'm going to walk you today to these different points. The first one is N for North Stars, the user speak. I think it's very easy with AI to just focus on the technology because it's so amazing. Look at this robot that we just, show. It's very impressive. And so as a product manager, it's easy to say, okay, I will bring this AI capability and just bring the hype in the product. And I learned it really the hard way, for instance, with AI co-scientists. This research paper, this has incredible press. We knew this was like an amazing agentic capability to discover new drug, but when pitching it to pharma companies and scientists, it didn't resonate the same way because we didn't really understand how this would help them. What was the real problem this technology would help them? And then this is when I started to really, collaborate and do my PM job, go to the user, ask them questions to really understand that the real why was to help them to stop lab time, 6 months of lab time on dead ends, and to move on really like this experimental side and not just the discovery side. So I would encourage, every of you to working on AI solutions to go back sometimes to the basics of being a PM and really trying to understand what summit is my user trying to reach. So as a key takeaway for this first point, forget about the technology and start really to learn the real why, whatever, AI models you're bringing into the product. The second point, SaaS for safeguards, the tool of trust. Most of the product, because also I was building all of this product for enterprise, when we pitched them and were like showing demo, this resonated very well, but as soon as we wanted to deploy it, there was a lot of blockers due to the lack of guardrails in the product. And I think this is quite common in all the AI solutions. You have to think about what will make the user feel safe or the enterprise feel safe using and deploying this product. So to give you an example, for instance, for Gemini Enterprise, these are kind of the 3 areas we deeply invested in this area of tools of trust. The first one is context engineering, because we were not just giving answers to the user, we were giving answers grounding on enterprise data, some sensitive data that not all employees have access to. So how do you build the right tools of trust, the right way to build this context engineering? The problem is large, and I believe next year will be a big year again for context engineering because there are still a lot of challenges around this. The second layers of trust is governance tools. How do you make sure for Gemini Enterprise that the administrator, the customer will have access to the right dashboard, the right monitoring in place? And this should be part of the product. We launched it without it. No enterprise was using it, and they were all asking for, I have to have access to this governance tool to make sure I can deploy it and start to see usage. And the last one is human in the loop. Sometimes it's easy to say, okay, everything is going to be automated with AI. We'll have AI agents replacing what knowledge workers are doing. The reality is, in most of the workflow, you need to think about when is the end user going to intervene and ask the AI agent to stop or proceed. So these are just 3 examples of areas. Depending on the product you're working with, you will come up with other safeguards. But again, as a key takeaway here, don't just ship the AI capability, but really think about the safeguards too, because this is what will bring actual user value. The third cardinal point is E for evaluation. I wanted to start with this one because this is the most important one, I think, but it was a bit weird to start with is, so here we are. E for evaluation, the ground truth. Evaluation is a process that I think in most of the AI team fall under the engineering team. And I did this mistake multiple times on Infobot at the beginning of Gemini Enterprise, just asking the engineering team to hill climb on quality. I rapidly realized that this was not just an engineering problem, but this should be led by the product team and the product manager. And that's why I wanted to emphasize this point, to really encourage you to learn about evaluation, what it means, how to put it in place in the product, because this can make a big difference if, as a product leader, you know how to do it and you can work with your team to make it happen. And so to give you a bit of details about how I see it, for me, it's the new PRD. I think for the past 2 years working on this AI solution, I never wrote a PRD. I was just writing evaluation set, which was very simple way to describe what the product should do in the context of an LLM. So a set of user prompts, maybe 50, 100 prompts, and the golden answers. And don't ask another AI to generate it for you, because you will go in a loop, but really capture the data from your real end user, from the customer, to come up with like this real prompt. And by doing this exercise, you will come up also with like an evaluation framework with some evaluation criteria. Some of this you're familiar with it, accuracy, groundedness, and now it's like we have a bunch of raters to do it. So this can be, I would agree, this could be an engineering problem, but some of them like safety, personality, tone, how the LLM is handling uncertainty, this has to be defined by you as a PM because you know best what the user will expect. So get involved in this process, lead it, get data from the real world because you have the power to be this facilitator between the user and the engineering team, and really own this evaluation set as a way to build the best product with LLM. So key takeaway here, again, your most critical PM job, building AI, bringing AI features in a product is definitely to design evaluation. If you skip this step, you will launch something, but believe me, 6 months after, you will be back on the drawing board designing evaluation. Last but not least, West for wayfinding, how we act as a team. I think building with AI means that the technology is evolving and changing very fast. So if you spend, 1 month, 2 months prioritizing features, building a roadmap, thinking about your OKRs, aligning everyone, at the end, when you will start building your product, it will already be obsolete. So you have to find a way to act, whether it's in the startup or in a big corporation, to really act fast. And the way I was seeing myself in all this like team organization was really to be this chief experimenter and help the team to define which experiments we're going to do to make sure that we maximize the rate of learning. And so every week, we'll start the week with like, okay, what are we going to experiment that will help us build a better product because we already defined our North Star evaluation, and then take it from there. And then the week after, really learn for what has failed and what has succeeded based on the different technology and everything. Because then you will really build with the team this muscle of being flexible, of getting to test the new technology, because the best way to know if a model is better than another is to put it in your product and look whether you're hill climbing or not. So again, key takeaway here. Good. Framework as experiments instead of roadmap of features, and maximize the learning rate as a leader for your team. So that's my compass, the AI compass, as a recap and for the North Star. So go back to the basics of being a PM and understanding the why, even with all the hype around all of these AI capabilities. S for safeguards, think about what will make your user feel safe using the product. E for evaluation, your most critical PM job if you are AI PM or just bringing AI to your product, which we'll have to do, whatever product you're working on, is to design evaluation. And W for wayfinding, find a way as a team to maximize the rate of learning and have really this like flexibility to experiment with the product. So now this is, my challenge for you when you go back working on your product with your team. Ask yourself, are we building for hype? Are we building for help? And I believe that, if you have clarity on the North Stars, if you know how to design evaluation and are already in this process for the AI feature you want to bring in, if you have some safeguards in place, or at least know which guardrails you want to build within the product, and if as a team you feel that you have the capability to experiment and fail, then I'm sure you're like in a good stage to build for help. And I decided to climb another mountain. So as I've told you, this week I'm joining a startup here in Zurich called Kaiko that focuses on clinicians and AI solutions for clinicians. So this is, my next mountain, the one that matters to me, and I hope you will find your AI mountains that matters to you and start climbing today. Thank you very much. I think we'll have time for questions, so very happy to answer any question that you have today.